I think in the last resort to anything, yes, we would like to resort to biomedical medicines. But then even we, the people that use them, know the limits that they have, but also know some of the, the dangers and the side effects, and that really we should be embracing a lot more easier, things that are not only easier on our bodies, but also really relate, I think, to our closeness with the environment. So I've been thinking of how could I combine what I already have and then get more understanding of what can I do within the confines of what is being practiced. I mean, if you look in my country, we have like traditional healing practices and all that have gone on for centuries. The thing with half of these things is they're not proven, but there's certain things that people have used for a long time and that have served them well. And then for the rest, if you look at the East, I know whether it's Chinese or others, I know there's so much that has been done in terms of alternative therapies that we could look at. But not only the healing aspect, I mean, I'm definitely interested in learning that, whether it's acupuncture, it's whatever, different ways to relieve pain. But I'm also very interested in the wellness component. What do we do before we actually get to illness? So really looking at more your wellness practices, looking at the role of food and nutrition, looking at your spiritual and your, all your mental processes that combine to you being able to live a healthy and, a healthy life. So when I envision a practice that would be perfect for me, it would bring together, sort of like your different wellness packages, but also a lot of traditional healing, practices that help one, those that are just achieving, healthy, whatever life, and then those that already have conditions that would benefit from some healing practices. I think within here, we don't have many practices like that. I think there are a number of wellness centers that offer, spa-like treatments only, maybe exercise, and others, yoga, some level of meditation. But in terms of like really firmly established practices that offer healing, we don't really have that much that's happening. And I kind of feel, I think a number of people will leave the country and go elsewhere, to try and find, where could I find alternative healing methods, which we don't have here. So I'd like to explore and see, how could you introduce those slowly alongside packages that people already know, the traditional wellness packages, but really start to move into healing and what can we do that's closer to nature, that's more holistic, that's a lot less invasive. But then I think that pulls on, centuries and centuries of knowledge that we know in terms of this is what works for us and works for our health. So it's all over the place, right?
No, but I feel you have a really good grasp on understanding that we need to look at the whole, right? It's not just reacting on after conditions happen, but it's educating what we can do before we have real issues. And like you said, through nutrition, through our mental wellness, because stress is the number one cause of disease and illness. It later shows up in the body if not dealt with. And also I loved what you said, we have now tools that are available to us that I would love to introduce to you that help us get to the root cause. And what's amazing is everything that I do there in the States on a holistic wellness level is years and years old, ancient, it's not new, light therapy is not new. essential oils is not new, but you're right. Like we have, I mean, we can rewind ourselves decades, back, and that's what there was. There was medicine healers. There were, even amongst, the African tribes. I mean, they still exist. As you know, that their resources are in nature and from nature, not from something man-made. And so, obviously, as corporations get built and time's gone on, then those things have been shoved to the sides, wherein what's available to people and what's most common to people is, okay, go to the doctor, tell the symptoms, get a label, get some medicine, or have a surgery. And now it's now the reversal of that for a couple reasons. One is we are all becoming more educated and knowledgeable about alternative, because we have access to the internet, right? And instead of giving a doctor a call, we can maybe search on the internet natural ways to help my baby sleep, or prevent an asthma attack or whatever, and if we can do so in a way that, I mean, insurance covers really only medical predominantly, and it's very slow even in the States to be covered as something of on holistic, right? You can easily get medications and a surgery covered for insurance, but try getting light therapy or frequency healing or a bioresonance scan covered by insurance. It's not typical, it's not standard. But if we can find a way to educate and merge the two, because we need each other. Western medicine is needed, but at the same time, it's up to us as trusted providers. People come to you because they feel safe. They trust what you would say to them to do. And if as you are offering healing, now all of a sudden you can offer up alternatives that are before medicine or surgeries. Now you can say, okay, try light therapy instead of going for a surgery, or try, let's get to the root cause. And the reason why you're having chronic pain is there must be lots of pathogens weighing down your immune system. And it's a response that your body is calling out for help, right? And so having those tools available to you, then you can start to make pathways, I believe, in introducing these not so new concepts, but yet helping people retrust the ways of the old, you know what I mean? The ways that worked in the past. And they're time proven, and so it would be, I think, it's not a huge endeavor. The few systems that we have in place, where we use frequency and light and sound to help heal, they're not systems that are tens of thousands of dollars. They're not. In fact, they can begin with even something as simple as essential oils, and in seeing how that is not only can be stocked in every family's medicine cabinet or bathroom cabinet, to have everything kind of replaced. Replace Pepto-Bismol with an essential oil, replace aspirin with an essential oil, or those kinds of things. And that's a great place for wellness to start at the home, just to replace those things that we typically would go to the pharmacy and stock up on, educating alternatives that are not expensive. And also, that's why one of the reasons why I love the company called doTERRA. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they're global. They are actually,
doTERRA.
yeah,
Yeah.
DOTERRA.
PE. Okay.
And they're global. You know, they have, and what I love about them is their oils are one of the purest in, and also the company is, you know, creates jobs, and because they farm lavender from, you know, South America, and they, you know, they, if you go on their website, they have a lot of videos about how they help the people in the area. So I'm sure there's in South Africa or Africa or wherever they harvest certain plants and herbs to make their oils. But also I know that it's not like just an American company. It's a global company where it's accessible by people for anywhere they live in the world, which is awesome. So I would love to obviously show you and share with you the different things that I've vetted over the years, because yes, I started in holistic healing, you know, 3 decades back or more. And I, you know, yes, acupuncture is amazing. Acupressure is amazing. Massage therapy is amazing. Cranial sacral therapy is amazing. I mean, all of these things are amazing. However, with, and I don't say however in a bad way. I'm just saying that when we learn something that is far more effective, it's quicker, it's faster, you know, it works faster and better. It's not necessarily more expensive. And it's something that even can be provided through technology, which is great, because then, you know, you're not relying on, you know, someone, you know, not having the skills, or maybe someone not being available to do, you know, some sort of a, let's say, acupuncture technique or something like that, you know. But that being said, there, like I said, the things that we practice with now, the things that I've vetted through the years, are very accessible. I, you know, and that it, you know, and not trying to overwhelm you or anyone to step into some of these available technologies that are transformative to the people that you would be seeing, and then begin to introduce them to in a safe way, because you're a trusted person. And if you were to recommend, hey, why don't we get a scan, and this scan is non-invasive, it's not harmful to your body, so, you know, they would be, wow, okay, I don't have to go to the doctor, I don't have to have radiation on me, I, you know, and all of those things. What is the healthcare like in your, you know, in your community there where you live? You know, is it, you know, only available to people who can afford it? Is it paid for by the government? How is that?
So we have largely a public system that is supposed to be provided free by the government. But the reality of the public system is that it does not meet the needs of the people. So the majority of people that can afford it will go for the private, you know, more for the private system. So it's a mix. For those who pay, you can pay. And then for the rest of the general public, the country tries to provide it. But what is provided free is very, very inadequate. It does not meet the people's needs. So for people who are not in formal employment and don't have, you know, health insurance, or don't have some private a medical scheme, in terms of what they can get, it's not so much. But an interesting point within our health system is, like I was telling you, for a long time, Zambians see traditional practitioners, and the majority of the people will consult a traditional healer, you know, to get, as many times before they even go into the public system.
Okay.
So there's a system where people use the both. and whether they use the traditional healing methods or they go into the hospitals, there's a form of payment. For the traditional one, it's less formal, but they still do pay. And I say that because the people, I think the people still very much believe in the natural healing methods.
Mm-hmm.
So while we know we're using the biomedical system, a lot of the people still use them alongside what they've always used for centuries.
Yeah.
But in terms of paying, it's a small part of the population that can really afford private healthcare, and the rest rely on the public system that the government provides, which really doesn't meet the health needs. But the population, I think, is very open to the fact that other healing modalities beyond what we know within the biomedical system work, and a lot of people will actually seek those.
Mm-hmm.
So learning of new healing methods or whatever would not be something that would be difficult, because for the most part, I think a lot of people sort of straddle the two,
Mm-hmm.
kind of, okay, biomedical for this, and for stuff that they feel the biomedical doesn't know, we will try the traditional routes. So yeah, it's an interesting set of,
Yeah.
yeah.
And when and when you refer to some more traditional, more like, herbs and things like that, more herbal.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
primarily. A lot of it is herbal. Zambia has large forests, and I think the communities relied a lot on using the forests for medicine. But I mean, in addition to that, there's also the spiritual beliefs and other
Yes. Yes.
that people will implore, especially in places where they feel a physical cure is not, is not possible. So for example, calling on ancestral spirits and powers to be able to step in places where they feel a physical cure is not what's looked at. Maybe it's more a spiritual,
Mm-hmm.
issue. So things like that. But to a large extent, it's more your herbal medicines,
Mm-hmm.
um, your herbal medicines. But still, there's a huge belief that um, this power of healing is passed on from generation to generation. So it's sort of like it's something that runs within certain families. So certain people have, sort of the power, or are able to either draw on ancestral knowledge and power and be able to, to find or advise the pertinent and the right cure or the right herbs that should be used in different situations. So while certain things are standard, this is used for this ailment, this is used,
Yeah.
there's also the reliance on the spiritual powers of others to be able to determine different things to be used in different, in different times. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's
So a
actually,
bit of mix of the spiritual.
that's awesome. I mean, because in the States, those are newer concepts. When we entered, I mean, of course, the closest thing that I think most people can relate to, of spiritual practice, of spiritual healing, is through prayer, right? Common religions, prayer, but and all of these, but are becoming more and more popular. People are being more open-minded, because again, what we're dealing with, whether it be herbs or whether it be through a healer, if you will, is we're using energy, and that's what we're
Yeah.
all made up of. And spiritual healing is energy in its purest form, because it doesn't know space or time. It's not in the physical. And I know some people believe you have to believe for it to work, but it's not necessarily true.
Mm.
I do believe
Mm.
that, you know, being more open to it obviously helps, you know, your receiving of something. But I think everyone,
Mm.
I think everyone probably in around the world could probably agree that they've had some sort of experience of
Mm.
someone that they know, or even themselves, having been influenced by some sort of positive energy, whether it be prayer or
Mm.
a traditional healing ceremony and that sort of thing. And it's neat to, you know,
Mm.
realize that the people of Zambia have had that so closely held uh, to them even up into this day. They haven't been so,
Mm.
you know, it hasn't been pushed away so much as it has, for example, in the States. You know, we've been so modernized, and
Mm.
now we're coming back to that, which is exciting. You know, in fact,
Mm.
even in
Mm.
my own, even within ENSELE, my own company, we have people who have gifts, very beautiful gifts
Mm.
that can help people
Mm.
get unstuck emotionally from certain past life traumas that
Mm.
not even have to do with this lifetime. And, you know,
Mm.
introducing these concepts is becoming more and more accepted and more known. And
Mm.
it's
Mm.
I think introducing alternative medicine and the like would be even an easier thing for the community of Zambia than, you know, what we are faced with in America, because we're so inundated and integrated with, you know,
Mm.
commercialism and pharmaceutical and that sort of thing. But I think
Mm.
as we're seeing,
Mm.
these things are having, they're huge costs, and they're having, as you mentioned, negative side effects. And so therefore people are waking up
Mm.
and saying, this is not for me, or this is not working, or this is too expensive,
Mm.
and opening their
Mm.
mind to other things. And
Mm.
unfortunately, with people in the US, I would say the majority are more open when they've tried everything
Mm.
else. They've tried multiple surgeries, they've tried
Yeah.
multiple medications, you know, and that's sad that that's our
Mm.
first go-to versus, you know, trusting something more
Mm.
natural. But it's
Yeah.
the power of, you know, natural medicine and that. So it's really
Mm.
amazing. And, you know, through this COVID times, we've been able to do everything we do remotely, either through quantum physics, you
Mm.
know, and that's a lot of
Mm.
when even healers that, you know, in Zambia, and the families that have had these traditions of
Mm.
healing, they don't, as you know, they don't necessarily have to be physically in their presence, you know, doing something physical to them.
No.
Right. So
Mm-hmm.
they understand that
Mm-hmm.
level of healing, and we are more new to those concepts, I think, in the Western world.
Mm.
So I am excited
Wow.
because I would love, when I would love to show you the lights, you know, which is awesome for so
Mm.
many different things of healing. That is not something that is expensive.
Mm.
I would love to
Mm.
show and share with you on another Zoom call our bioresonance
Mm.
scanner, because even through a photo,
Mm.
we can
Mm.
read the person's energetic biofield, so that you know, you could see, okay, this
Mm.
person has malaria or Lyme disease, or,
Yeah.
you know, what's the
Yeah.
pathogens. And it's through, like you said, wellness,
Mm.
detox, and, you know, ways to do that so that
Mm.
their immune system is not compromised and
Mm.
kicks in. And and then
Mm.
um, and then through frequency healing, like, you know, I might have shown you like my little device that I wear, that I can program frequencies,
Mm.
and it's, you know, as you
Mm.
know, frequencies can um,
Mm.
kill pathogens without hurting our body, but also frequencies can also bring renewed health and restoration back to our bodies as well. So there's some simple technologies that are, I believe, within the reach of doctors and healthcare providers and healers such as yourself. They're not out of reach. Imagine, starting your own hospital and trying to pay for these huge MRI, machines, these huge machines. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really accessible. I really do believe, and it's life changing. And then, when I started in holistic healing, of course, I started way back when I was introduced to it when I was 10 years old. My aunt used to use herbs to help my family, and she really was instrumental in guiding my attention towards holistic healing because it was so effective. But then I moved later and later through different modalities, and got to learn how powerful our brain is, and how our brain is the master control center for all of our body, and for a good 25 some years just with the brain work that we offered people through a headset. Now we offer the brain headset as a remote device, and people can have us. It's have a certified brain professional program and monitor the person's brain progress. And all we're doing with the brain is simply mirroring the brain back to itself so it can rebalance and the symptoms fall away. And when the symptoms fall away, then the label falls away. Because as you know, stress and trauma leads to disease and illness, because what happens is our brain goes into fight or flight or freeze mode and puts us into a stuck state. And the brain doesn't always realize it's still in that stuck state, and it helps to mirror the brain back to itself naturally, so the brain then is in balance and the symptoms drop away. And it's quite miraculous. But obviously there's outside factors of the brain as well, our environment, our nutrition, right? Things like that can truly affect the brain. But we have to look at things in a big whole picture. And that's why I love that you brought in the spirituality side and the physical side, the mental side. There's all these components that are factors, and we have to consider all of them.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
it's exciting, and it might feel overwhelming, but out of all of the different things that you might have seen on our website, was there one particular thing you thought like, ooh, I think that this could be something I could maybe offer or get started with or learn more about? Was there something specific?
No. I mean, I think the light itself, I think half of the things I was looking at, I was thinking, what does it take to set this up? And until I talk to you, it's like, I don't really know what's possible, because what's in the back, what runs with this or whatever.
Yeah.
But like in my view, I was like, I'd get your sense on what is the easiest place to start that requires the least in terms of backup. I love the sound of the light therapy and everything, but what is involved? Where, because I mean, I would love to start with all these healing things, but I know it's going to be gradual, and it's going to start with the things that are as easily as accessible as possible, that I can do, without too much that's required to set up, but still starts to get a group of people interested or whatever. Then I expand, and I can get the bigger, whatever requires a lot more to support it.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
For me, like, my interest is when you look at what you have, starting from the simple, that are easy, that probably, requires basic support or basic equipment, that I can set. And the thing is, I don't know half of these I've not used any of these modalities myself. So it's the things that I can quickly learn,
Yeah.
and then be able to confidently administer
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and work with.
Yes. Yes. And, thank goodness for Zoom and technology, right? I mean, a lot of information and training can be easily um, done through this method. And I, when I talk to other healers or providers or even doctors, um, starting gradual and starting simple, but also there's things that we can offer even before they have that technology available. Like, for example, even let's say you had a client and they had a mystery illness, and we could do the scan on our side, for you until such time that you learned how to do the scan, because we can do scans remotely. And
Yeah.
a lot of equipment,
Yeah.
we can send you the basics and we can support it from our end until you feel comfortable and
Yeah.
confident in bringing it up. But I can definitely give you,
Fantastic.
more of a clear picture on that. The reason why I mentioned essential oils is, of course, when herbs are commercialized, meaning not just, you go to, we don't, we can't just go to the forest and grab some fresh herbs like perhaps you guys can, right? And so when
Yeah.
commercialized, there's bugs, there's weeds, it's not the quality that you would get if you can directly access it.
Exactly. Contamination.
Right. So that's why when we look at essential oils, the oils are 50% times more potent than the herbs are for healing. So this is one of the reasons why I switched over from using herbs to oils, just because of their increased potency and reliability. And you can pretty much get anything these days. But yeah, I think a good next step to start would be to show you each modality, and show you
Yeah.
just kind of take you through a high level training on it, and demonstration of it. And then if you felt, and then of course, I can provide you like where something could start, and start on
Yeah.
a basic level where you can always build from it as you grow and
Yeah.
have a greater need, so that you're learning while you're offering, new concepts and new modalities to people. So it'd be an easy way to do that.
Yeah.
Like I said, not out of reach in any way. It would be really exciting.
Fantastic. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Sounds great.
I think what I can do is I can break it down for you in segments and prioritize kind of
Yeah.
little bits of knowledge and demonstration, and then we can just take it from there. And there's things that you can even do today that or
Yeah.
tomorrow that are available
Yeah.
to start introducing to your clients. Because one of the things that we I mean, of course, like you said, you have your healers that are perhaps intuitive and can see and draw and read intuitively, like, okay, this person has parasites in the stomach or whatever. But we have a technology that is fail proof, that reads energy and can be another resource, getting at the root problem. And that's the key. We wanted to get to the source of the issue.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And then from there, you know,
Wow.
I could send you devices that you could learn and try.
Mm.
Then, you know, if you
Mhm.
felt, you know, like, oh yes, this is definitely something I would want in my
Yeah.
practice, then you can make that leap.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's
Yeah.
getting everything at once can be daunting. Even that would surprise you how
Mhm.
affordable it is. But we, you know, we'll take step by step,
Mm.
and we'll just introduce
Yeah.
kinds of things. So yeah. Do you have okay on well, I don't know, on Facebook, I've started a group for
Mm.
healers, and
Mm.
there might be
Mm.
on our website. I'll send you all of that stuff so that way, because I think I have some pre-recorded
Yeah.
videos on um, like the infrared
Mm.
lights and the essential oils and
Mm.
some of those things is, and you can
Yeah.
watch them, but
Yeah.
you at least would know, you know, if and when I'm kind of doing more um, talks
Mhm.
about it, you can jump on, or if you miss it, you can always watch later. But I would love to follow up with you again
Watch it later.
directly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
do some sort of a structured thing, and then you can figure out what
Mm.
your own timeline would be for beginning to integrate.
Mm. Yeah. Sounds good.
Awesome.
Sounds good. Please send me the links.
Yes, I will. I will. I
Yeah.
won't overwhelm you, I promise. Everything is
Oh.
yeah, it's all
Wow.
there.
Amazing. I mean, I couldn't have, yeah. And it's like I sit and I work with this, and at a point I was thinking, well, I need to register. I was actually like last year thinking I need to register for training. This, of course, COVID happened. And then it's like fancy meeting a healer at the beginning of this year, and who's doing all that? Such serendipity. I couldn't believe it.
I know.
But last year I was really set on, I need to be able to find an appropriate place. I can start to get learning because everything is up here in my head, and practically I don't know what I would need to do, where I would need to start. Wow, amazing.
Yeah, it is. It was such a gift to have ran into you and meet you, and it really is. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm very, very excited to help you in every way that I can to get you set up and going. And you're going to be shocked that it's it's not as big of monster as it seems. It's super simple. I mean, truly. And you can begin
Wow.
making huge
Oh,
differences and impacts in people's lives in days. Truly.
amazing. Oh gosh, I am so excited.
Good. I'm
Just
too.
so excited.
I am too. Yeah, I am too. So I'll send you some things, okay? I'll kind of outline everything, and I'll send you some things, and then we'll schedule
Mm-hmm.
another call, and we will
Yeah.
make little demonstrations so that you can see each thing
Yeah.
for yourself. Um, Maybe it would be fun
Yeah.
to start with send me your I'll email you. I'll have you send me some things so that we can do a scan for you. We can start with you.
Okay.
You can
Nice.
see what it's like for
Yay.
yourself. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Uh-huh.
So I'll send you an email with all of
Fantastic. I
those
love
things.
that.
Okay, good. That's good. Because it like that
Mhm.
is one of the
Yeah.
things that you wouldn't have to have the equipment, and it's something like as fast as emailing a picture and the information, and you can turn around and provide someone with a report that
Mm.
can give you some guidance as to where to take it from there. Cool, huh?
Wow. Wow. Cool.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you go for now, but we'll be back in touch, okay?
Yeah. Thanks, Celine.
You're welcome. You're
And
welcome.
enjoy the rest of your stay in Cape Town.
Thank you. Thank you. As of now, we're scheduled to fly back Friday. So we have a few more days.
Okay.
But I'll be in touch with you.
Okay.
So we'll get a couple more
Enjoy
things
it.
accomplished. Thank you. I will. Thank you. Have a great day.
Fantastic. Fantastic. You too, Celine.
Okay. Bye-bye now.